based on just kind of talk about your top three here, because I think right now, based on what we know, the consensus top two picks right now are Owen Power and Matty Beniers, based on the projections of where Buffalo and Seattle is going to go. But past that, I think Anaheim's probably the biggest question mark right now. So what do you think's going down in that top three?
I think the top three, based on the consensus and what you see from Bob McKenzie and other stuff like that, is probably going to be Owen Power. I don't think they're going to... I mean, it could be a possibility to take Matthew Beniers, but I think they're going to take Power. I feel like that's my gut choice.
Okay, and like, what do you have to say for Owen Power going forward for Buffalo and what he's going to provide?
For Owen Power, what they have to do, they shouldn't be playing him in the NHL first season for sure. I mean, if they rush him 100%, I think if they rush him, he's going to end up being like a Ristolainen. And although Ristolainen has gotten a little bit better over the years, I feel like beforehand he wasn't that good defensively. I think with Owen Power, he needs to work on his defensive game, use his body more in terms of physicality and stuff like that. I think his offense is fine. He can run up. I don't think you shouldn't be putting him on the power play, but you can put him on there. He'll do just fine. And I think he has good playmaking, stuff like that. But there's some issues. Yeah.
So we're going Owen Power 1. Seattle number 2. Are we pretty confident in Matty Beniers? Like, for a while there, Raybro, I was saying, like, I was just going in the direction of, like, man, it'd be so, like, cool for two reasons. To draft a Luke Hughes, because I think Luke Hughes has the potential to be one of the best defensemen in the league. But on top of that, I think when we're talking about, like, Seattle, like, making a statement, and yes, Matty Beniers could be that number 1 center, but Luke Hughes could be that number 1 defenseman.
Yeah.
The rivalry brewing of, like, potentially Seattle and Vancouver in the same division, on top of, like, Quinn Hughes being in Vancouver and Luke Hughes being in Seattle, like, I think that'd be so cool. But I think Matty Beniers is the pick here. Would you say that's what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think that's the main choice. I feel like he's going to be the most translatable. I think he's probably going to get into the NHL faster than most of these guys in this draft for sure. And I think, like, first off, his rookie season, you could put him on the third line. I think he's going to do just fine on the defensive end and the offensive end.
Okay, so we're going Matty Beniers to Seattle. I think the top 2 picks are pretty set right now. I'd be surprised otherwise. So we'll go Matty Beniers and Anaheim. So this is the one that's really up in the air. I'll let you go this pick because I think I'll be more comfortable going the next one. But where do you think Anaheim's going to go with this pick?
I think Anaheim takes. I know you're using the selection. I think you're using the the scouting profile on their page and all that stuff and that information. But I still think that I think the best option for them is to take a William Eklund for sure. I think him and Zegras, what they could do on a line is truly remarkable. And they have a center such as Yeka Poro. Or even, Seagrass could be a center. I believe they're transitioning him to be a center. So him at centering with Eklund and putting him with, Tracy or Perot would be a really good line. Or even Troy Terry or Sam Steele, whatever. Mm-hmm. I feel like Eklund's going to be such a good piece on the line for sure. And he's probably going to be one of the guys who could produce some points in the NHL consistently for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can go Eklund here. The only other 2 picks I'd say right now, based on rumors, based on what I know, seems like a lot of people think that Anaheim might go Dylan Guenther here, which is still that left wing position. And I guess it just depends on where their confidence level is at with the 2 prospects, because if you're going a left winger, I think, based on skill level, I think both players are going to be great. I think both of them have their skill sets. I think Eklund could be more dynamic overall. But if you go defenseman, I mean, you kind of already have that right shot defenseman prospect in Jamie Drysdale, so I don't think they would repeat that with Brant Clark. So I think if they were to go to a defensive prospect here, it would probably be Edvinsson. So that's where I'm leaning towards a little bit, but I'm down to go Eklund because I think a lot of people are, like, I don't know, locking in a defenseman, but they went Drysdale last year, and I feel like they might go Zegras, then Drysdale, then maybe back to a forward. So let's go Eklund at number 3. And then number 4, again, I'm doubling down on this take because I think it would be, like, shocking. It's got to be one of the more obvious, like, things out there. But, like, for me, it's like, why are you going to upset your potential star number, 1 centerman? And at the end of the day, I mean, I've been saying people that are ranking Luke Hughes out of their top 5. I've been seeing it. Like, I just still don't get it, man. I just look at Luke Hughes' talent, like just his talent itself, just everything he provides. You can teach like other things, whether it's discipline or you can help a defenseman that has that kind of skill set, has that kind of IQ. You can improve his defensive game, but if it's just a low IQ player, like I'm obviously not comparing. In terms of other guys that are going to get drafted later in this first round. But Luke Hughes is just a type of talent in this draft that's like super rare. And especially with the brother connection, I can't see New Jersey passing on him.
Honestly, yeah, for sure. You can run a power play. His skating is phenomenal. Of course, being in the Hughes family for sure. His passing ability is really good. His shot is also pretty solid. His handling is pretty good. The only real weakness is his defensive game and sometimes his decision making. But other than that, you basically cannot if he has the skating talent that you cannot teach from others. You cannot teach effectively. And I would honestly pick it at that range just because the Hughes and Luke connection for sure. Okay,
so Columbus here. Where do you think they're going? I think they could go in so many different directions with this pick. I would think they try to go forward here, but again, it's value versus positional need, and I've always said in the NHL draft you should go value, best player available. So in your mindset right now, where do you think Columbus is going?
I think with Brant Clark, he's such a smart defenseman. He has probably one of the best IQs in defenseman for sure. I think he can run a power play really well. His passing is pretty solid. His shot's pretty solid. I think the main weakness to his overall game has to be his skating ability. There's some issues to his stride and his mobility that he needs to get it tweaked on for sure. But I think he could be probably like a top 15 defenseman for sure, just based on his upside again. And I think in terms of which team could pick him, I mean, if he falls, I think Detroit could possibly pick Wallstedt, but I'm not too sure now since they did recently to get Alex. Yeah.
I think just based on the fact that he is so highly sought after, and I think Columbus could go forward, but I think last year I'm pretty sure they went forward with their pick, right? They went Chinnikov?
Yeah, Chinnikov.
Okay, so let's go Brant Clark to Columbus, because I think a lot of people would be shocked if Brant Clark fell out of the top 5. And I think as a hot take, because Stevie Y always does surprise, I will say just openly, I think Wallstedt or Lysell could get picked here by Detroit, or they trade down. So I think Detroit could be a team that trades down and picks a Lysell or picks a Wallstedt. Yeah. I'll ask you this, Raybro, based on what you know, because, for example, Bob McKenzie, and based on how he talked to, I'd have to look at it again, but based on how he talked to scouts, he has Lysell not even in the top 20, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 19th, I believe.
Okay, 19th. So do you think there's a possibility where Lysell could fall to 22 where Detroit has their second pick? Or
honestly,
you don't see it?
That could be a possibility just because of what the scouts say. I think the main factor is that there's kind of this quote-unquote stigma going around with him having attitude issues, which is kind of pretty dumb. Yeah. It's out there for sure. But
okay, well, how about this? Because this is interesting. So the Red Wings have right now, and this is where I'm going, maybe the defenseman causes a little bit of a domino effect here. Because I do agree with you. I think Lysell should be ranked a little higher, but I'm just thinking based on value. And again, Detroit could surprise because they did the exact same thing with Moritz Seider. Seider was supposed to go like mid-first round, and I agree with you. 6 is super early. 6 is super early. So what if this creates a domino effect, and they have Seider? What if they go the left shot defenseman and go Edvinsson here?
Honestly, that would be pretty interesting, and it wouldn't be too bad of a decision. But yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. Both are pretty solid defensively, especially Edvinsson as well. I think if that happened, that would have been like a huge turning point for sure.
But Kent Johnson is from Michigan. But I don't think Stevie Y is the type of GM to sway away from like what he believes versus like location or what. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
If we're going forward, we can also easily see them taking McTavish because his draft stock rising up, especially from the U18s. Yeah. His performance as well, and him playing good against men. So I think it's either for me to either take McTavish or EZELL at this point.
Okay. And then I agree with you. Let's go McTavish then. Because, again, I agree with you. I think Lysell could jump. I just don't know. It goes back to, like, will Stevie Y be that gutsy to jump that much, or will he try to go asset management and trade down a little bit? And that's where I'm saying I could see Detroit trading down or trading up from their 22 overall pick. And San Jose, I feel like this is obvious. If Edvinsson drops, I feel like we have to go Edvinsson here, right?
I mean, yeah, Jack Olson really loves this guy in the Discord. So, I mean, it's a good pick. Him playing with Merkley, he's good, solid defensively, and if he lets Merkley, lean into more of the offensive side, that's a pretty good pair for sure. I think Edvinsson gets taken with San Jose's pick for sure.
Okay, so let's go Edvinsson with the Sharks pick and LA.
At this range, we don't know what LA is going for, obviously. But I think it's either got to be... I think with no D-man left to take that early, I think they either take EZELL, Johnson...
Yeah, then let's go with that. Let's go Kent Johnson to LA.
Okay.
I'll
pick him here.
Yeah. And then with the Canucks, I would say... I feel like Gunther might be the pick.
Yeah, probably Gunther.
I feel like they don't pass on Gunther if he gets here.
Yeah, I think their center depth looks amazing with Horvat. Miller can also play center as well if he needs to.
Obviously
Pedersen.
PD, yeah.
Yeah, Pedersen as well. And I think they take like a winger to be with PD. So I think it's either, I don't know. Again, they could easily take EZELL because he's Swedish, and Hoglander and PD. Also, and he has that upside, but they can also take Dylan Gunther, and I probably think they're leaning towards Dylan Gunther.
Where do you think the Sens could go here?
I don't know. Ottawa's the kind of team that the drafting has been questionable. What I've seen from lots is either they're gonna take a reach on Coronado. Lucius is another guy they're probably looking at as well, or they might take the big guys because they like the size a lot. At this range, I think the best bet actually would be, I know in Draft Pro's rankings, the Sillinger is like 20, but I think Sillinger is such a good shooter, one of the best wrist shots in this draft, like probably the best sniper in this draft aside from Lucius and Coronado for sure.
Yeah, I feel like I've read a couple things that suggest Lucius to Ottawa. And I think in the U18 National Development Program, I feel like...
He's been riddled with injuries a lot and illness and stuff like that. So we can't really project what he's going to be just because how much time he has lost.
Yeah.
And what I've seen from him, what I've heard from him, his skating isn't the best, but I think it's due to his injuries too, and not him being 100% and stuff like that. It isn't due to his overall skill and speeding. That's what I'm also hearing potentially. Mm-hmm. So at this range, they can pretty much take anyone. I like Cole Sillinger because his offense is like he can shoot the puck. He's probably the best shooter in this draft for sure.
Okay, so let's go Lucius then, and then...
Honestly, I would say if Chicago even has this chance to get him, I think they're going to swipe him up regardless if they have Lankinen. I think they take Wallstedt out here, honestly.
You think so?
Yeah, Wallstedt is he's going to be a franchise-level goaltender, I believe so, just because of what he's done in the SHL.
Keep an eye out for Detroit for Wallstedt for sure.
Yeah.
But, all right, I'm convinced. Chicago, Wallstedt. All right, Calgary. I think they could go a bunch of directions here. What do you think?
They don't really have a number one center aside from Monahan, and if they trade Monahan, I don't think Lindholm is that number one guy. And I think they take a flyer on Fyodor Svechkov.
You think Fyodor Svechkov would go this early?
Yeah, I think so. He's probably the best two-way guy in this draft. He's been picked up, I think, traded to St. Petersburg, which is a known development team they're very good, and I think with them developing under them, I think he's gonna be really solid, and I think Calgary takes him.
I think one of my potential picks here, I don't know if you agree with this, could be a Cole Sillinger here.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Cole Sillinger looks to be a good piece in Philly.
Let's pretend big swap here coming up. All right, your Dallas Stars trade the 14th overall pick to the Detroit Red Wings for the 22nd overall pick, and the Red Wings, second round pick. One of their second round picks.
Yeah.
All right, so The Dallas Stars will swap it after. So this is where the Detroit Red Wings are selecting. And Raybro, I think we go with your guy, Fabian Lysell.
Yep, Fabian Lysell.
So imagine the Red Wings came out of this draft with Mason McTavish and Fabian Lysell.
Honestly, just right there, they probably would have been the winners of round 1 for sure, 100%.
Man, yeah, that's what I think. The Red Wings. I'll say this, based on what I've heard, based on what I've read, I think the Red Wings are going to try to come out of this draft with at least one of William Eklund, Mason McTavish, or Fabian Lysell. I think one of those guys are going to try to get. And if they can get 2 of those guys, oh my god, that'd be insane. All right, so Rangers here. Where do we think they could go?
I think this is the point where Stankoven gets taken just because of the upside.
Okay, so instead of LaRue, you think if they were going to go best player available in their minds, they could go Stankoven?
Yes.
Okay, I could be sold on that. Where is Stankoven going in like a lot of mock drafts?
In a lot of mock drafts, it's kind of varied. Some have him like top 10, others have him like in like the 20s, and then others just have him in the 40s for some reason. But it's like very rangy.
Yeah. But, okay. Well. Yeah. I'll be sold on that. I think Stankoven could be a really underrated pick. So I think the Rangers picked a couple of defensemen that they liked last year. So I'll pick Stankoven here for the Rangers. And so the St. Louis Blues at 16. Where do you think they could go?
They can either go with Coronado or Aturati. I think either those two go 1 or 2 with each other, for sure. Or even.
Well, I was gonna say the other picks. Sorry, I was just gonna say because I just want to mention this to the stream and the video and for what you talked about. Do you think your big underrated guy Borgo could jump into this first round here around one of these picks?
Honestly, yeah. I think Borgo can go there, but I think for him. I think the best range, I don't think you should probably draft him 16 or 17. I think he's more of the 20 to 30 range. I feel like that's the best bet. I think I would rather take a Coronado or Aturati, especially Aturati, just because of his upside for sure.
Okay. I mean, I'm convinced. I think Coronado could be in around this spot, so I think Coronado at 16 makes some sense.
Yeah.
All right. So Matthew Coronado to the St. Louis Blues. I guess just speak to a little bit of the... Because I think we're getting more into the prospects of like what not like people don't know a lot about. So give like kind of your quick analysis on Stankoven and Coronado on those last 2 picks.
For Stankoven, like I said before, he's a very fast guy. He knows how to shoot the pucks. He has very good offensive skills, good stick handling, good playmaker as well. He's basically a very good player that's getting overlooked just because he's 5'8". I think this is a special case where it's going to be similar to what happened with Cole Caulfield in 2019, where, again, size, people look at his size and think, do we want him on our squad or is he going to get overpowered?
Okay, so do you think the Rangers could be a team to learn the lesson, or do you think they'll make the same mistakes that... Because, let's be honest, Raybro, I think me and you can sit here and just be like, okay, I mean, these teams should learn their lesson, but... to me, I said the same thing about Caulfield. I had Caulfield going, I think, at the time, 8th overall to the Sabres, and he dropped all the way to 15, and they did not. All those teams did not learn their lesson. So, do you think it's different now, or do you think it's possible Stankoven falls all the way?
I think it's definitely different now since there's more smaller players going into the league than it was. I mean,
Yeah, but Caulfield just got drafted, so it's like some of these GMs, they're still in kind of the old man's like mentality.
Yeah, but once they see what Caulfield has done, I don't think their minds have been changed a little bit.
Okay. Well, we'll see what Chris Drury and the scouting staff does, but I'll trust you on the Stankoven pick in this spot. Brendan Othman is on the board. Rosen. There's still a lot of good forwards too. So what do you think?
Honestly, I do see him. Actually, as I was taking my charger, I was thinking, I think they could take Carson Lambos. He's playing with the Winnipeg Ice in the WHL. Yeah. Obviously went overseas because of the late start with the WHL. But I think with Carson Lambos, he had some struggles with the Finnish Hockey League. Obviously, I think different ice. But I think once he comes back to WHL next year, gets used to the ice again, and starts to be more comfortable, I think he's gonna break out in the WHL, and teams are gonna be wondering why they didn't take him in the first place. So I think Winnipeg takes him, especially since they haven't. I think they have Heinola, but who do they have other than Heinola?
Yeah, the Jets are kind of weak on defensive prospects. I'd say Heinola's their one main piece. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm sold. I think Carson Lambos could be a good pick here. I think if he falls all the way to 17, I think it's a good pick. All right, so who do we think the Nashville Predators are going to take at the 18 spot?
I think they take a Ratty at this point.
Yeah. I mean, he has fallen to this point where it's like, I think one team's going to scoop him up. So, the Preds, man, I will say the Preds drafting in the last few years, they've caught in like a lot of gems. Now, here's your Edmonton Oilers. So, do you think the Oilers have high potential of trading this pick? Or do you think if, based on what's on the board right now, do you think they make a selection?
It's been talked about a lot. I disagree with what Holland is trying to do, but apparently it's widely known. We're going to take, that's our main guy, Sebastian Koska.
So, Sebastian Koska from the Edmonton Oil Kings. Do you think that's the pick for the Oilers here?
It's not what I think. It's widely
No. That's what I'm saying. It's what you think is going to happen.
That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. They're gonna draft Koska, which is kind of like... I don't really agree with it. I think there's way better options than Koska. We don't really need a goaltender now since we have McDavid in his prime.
20th for the Boston Bruins here. I'm actually thinking they could go Zachary Leroux with this pick.
It's a slam dunk. He's basically a splitting image of Marchand. He has this year he had 4 suspensions already in the QMJHL. I think one of them because he was spitting on someone. Okay. I think that was one of them, and then all of them were headshots or something like that. He's a guy who he's on the line. He's in the green
and
area.
I think he probably plays that Bruins style hockey. So I'm going Zachary Leroux here. I think that's the pick for the Boston.
And another point is his analytics are overall the best, and he's probably pretty good. He has a good shot, good hands, good skater as well. He's a solid player as well. Despite having the Bruins attitude, so it's a slam dunk for sure.
Hey everyone, I'm just editing the video right now. Hopefully you're enjoying so far. We did a lot of analysis in the live stream, so I'm not going to show the analysis here because the video is going to get really long. So if you want to go to the analysis part of the final 10 picks of this first round, go to the live stream, the recent one that's titled, I think it's titled NHL Schedule and NHL Draft Talk. So go to that live stream for the analysis of the final 10 picks. But other than that, I'm going to go over the picks with you guys here, and I hope you do enjoy the video. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like. Definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section, so definitely go check out the live stream if you'd like. Minnesota Wild, Nikita Chibrikov. Dallas Stars, Corson Ceulemans, my bad. Yeah, that was the trade. And Dallas also gets a Detroit second-round pick or early third-round pick. So yeah, Corson Ceulemans to the Dallas Stars. Thank you, Raybro. Xavier Bourgault to the Florida Panthers. Isaac Rosen to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Stanislav Svozil to the Minnesota Wild, Simon Robertson to the Carolina Hurricanes, Ayrton Martino to the Colorado Avalanche, Francesco Pinelli to the Devils, Brendan Othman to the Vegas Golden Knights, Zachary Balduke to the Montreal Canadiens, and Daniil Chayka to the Blue Jackets. Wow, that was fast. I ripped through it. All right, Raybro, what are your thoughts on all those picks? And if it went down like this, who are the winners? Who are the question marks? What do you think?
I think, obviously, if you go with the winners, I think Detroit would be the winners of this draft, first off. I think them getting a good center, who I think will be a center in Mason McTavish. A good gritty guy who can shoot the puck really well, and he's good. He's a good 200-foot guy, I would say. And them getting a highest upside in this draft in EZELL would be a huge win in my books for sure.
Yeah, Raybro, thank you for coming on, and hey, big creds to you for improve your scouting game, and big shouts to Raybro. Let's go subscribe to Raybro on YouTube.